Right, hey everybody, we're at the United Nations Convention Centre here in Bangkok, as many of you know, here for the discussions and negotiations on establishing a new science policy panel for chemicals, waste and the prevention of pollution. So I'm joined here by Michelle Bloor. Do you want to introduce yourself, Michelle?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Michelle Bloor. I'm an associate professor at the University of Glasgow in the UK, an ecotoxicologist by trade, and I'm also representing the Society of Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry while I'm here.
Thank you. And for those at SETAC, so I'm Camilla Alexander-White and I'm from the Royal Society of Chemistry. So we're representing our chemical societies here. And that's not often the case, you know. There's a lot of people who are from the national governments, the regions in the world, so a lot of politicians and civil servants here. But we find, the scientists are often quite thin on the ground. So we are here as the science and technology community. We have our own banner.
We have, when we can find it.
When we can find it. So then we use that. And we're surprised that we can, according to UNEP rules, we can make some good comments and opinions. There's a limit to it.
There is. We come after the member states.
And we can make a comment and observations, and that's great. I think we're being very well received, actually.
Very much. Everybody turns round and listens, and then we hear afterwards that they're really grateful that we're here and contributing that science.
Yeah, I think in other fora that's not about science, they would think, the scientific voice isn't necessarily a thing, but particularly for this, it's about a science policy panel. Therefore, the scientists are important to engage in all of this. So yeah, it's great, and there's other what are called major group stakeholders. So we are part of these major groups. So there's other groups, 9 I think. Yeah, 9 in total.
Yes, 9 groups made up of different bodies and different representatives.
Yeah, and we've got, you wouldn't believe, we've got farmers. What else? We've got indigenous populations.
Yeah, the women's group.
NGOs, big badge of NGOs.
Children and youth, who are very active.
They are great, they're really doing a good job of the children and youth reps. I think they're fantastic. So there's a lot of different voices. Everybody has a chance to speak in an orderly and invited way.
Very much so, yeah.
So we're enjoying it. They are long days, though, aren't they?
Very long.
Oh,
very long.
Man.
They start at 8:30, or for some, it's 7:30.
Yeah, for some are coming in at 7:30.
Yeah.
I was here till 9:15 last night, listening to some of the wordsmithing that goes on.
And it looks like it'll be the same sort of time tonight,
too. All week, since Sunday, every day. So you'd be surprised how hard our government representatives work on behalf of us, really.
Yeah.
And we're listening, observing. There's a lot of tedious wordsmithing going on, but it's a process of them they just have to go through.
Well, everybody's just being careful to protect themselves, aren't they?
They are, I think, and taking their own government line along.
Very much so.
Then there's negotiations and side group conversations. We're meeting a lot of people as well, aren't we, in the side groups, We've met people from ICA, we've met people from
different
NGOs,
waste management companies.
Lots of different people.
World Health Organization.
Yeah, WHO. Yeah, obviously Sir Bob Watson's here as well. Now he's been a big name in the IPCC and IPBES, the two panels that this particular panel may follow the lead on a little bit, take some of the best bits out.
And now he's leading on Geo.
Yeah, so he's here, he's active, and he's really, giving us some good advice. He's a voice of wisdom.
Yes, he gave a very impressive presentation this morning to the member states about the different operations of the other groups and what he anticipates this one might look like.
Yeah, and then we met the chief scientist of UNEP this morning, Andrea, who came along with Sheila, who's the director for economics.
I believe they've just changed the names.
Industry and economics changed that last week. So, we're meeting a lot of different people, having a lot of good conversations. It's the start of a 2-year process.
Well, it's slightly longer because I think it's going to finish in 2025.
Yeah. There's a lot more discussions to be had on scope and function. We've sat through those.
And capacity building is going to be another conversation.
Yeah, very keen on that in the developing nations out there here. So that's another few hours of discussion on that. We go back into plenary all day tomorrow after these breakout discussions. We still don't really know when the second OEWG will be.
So I believe that it's going to be in November, December.
Okay, this year. And
I can't remember where they said it was going to be.
No, they may not have agreed anything yet. Still
No.
talking about these things. And they want more money, of course, from national governments to be able to keep this process alive.
Well, each one of these meetings costs 1.5 million to put
Believe that.
together.
Yeah,
It's all the
couldn't believe it.
translation and staff costs. It's very expensive.
Yeah. Because, of course, we have to pay for our own food. We're not having a big jolly.
They had a party on the first night though. That was
That's right. So we did have a reception from the Thai government. That was
they
very
did.
cool.
That was very nice.
Yeah. So generally, do you think, Michelle, you come again?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a learning curve. This is the first of one of these meetings that I've been to before, and we've done a lot of preparation. And of course, we made our statements and things before we came, so we were quite prepared with the documentation. But I think as far as the process goes and understanding that we can make more interventions than perhaps we realised was possible, which is fantastic for the science community and the other NGOs. I think on that side we might do a little bit more preparation next time, but we've been able to do that spontaneously. And which I think it's about. We were encouraged not to make statements daily. It was more about comments.
We can comment.
Which I think is really nice.
Yeah, it is. When we come back as well, we hope to be doing member engagement with our communities on the outputs and see, particularly on the functions, I think, talking about horizon scanning, how to do assessments, capability building.
And perhaps try and work out what the priorities might be as well within that.
So that's nearly the end of it.
So the question is, will you be coming back?
I think so. We've been working on this for a few years, and I think now it's so good that it's
exactly. We're exactly the
happening,
same. I think there's an exciting buzz.
There is an exciting buzz. Everybody's, and there's a lot of consensus. To be fair,
there is.
I don't think there's a lot of arguments or tension between the governments. There's a lot of consensus,
and it's really interesting. Yesterday, for example, when they were talking about the scope and objectives and seeing the whole process take shape. All of the interventions and this government approved this bit, this other government thought something else, it's really interesting to see.
So there'll be a lot of intersessional work that happens now by email, by correspondence, by working groups and surveys and all that now. So it's good. I'd come again.
There you go. We'll see you wherever it is.
Wherever it is. Bye for now. Anyway.
Bye.